updated actual intelligent thoughts about the book.
Already some things that were weird and had to edit. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do this exactly, if this was a bad idea. Human sacrifice.
Will this be the intro? I'm not sure. Today, though, I am excited, nervous to try this new project that is inspired mostly by the Show It or Scrap It done by Becca in the books. But then my brain was thinking, let's do something slightly different, you know? And we will also try to do like the try a chapter challenge, which I know some people have lots of done it. But the most recent one I've seen was by Daniels. Both of them I guess I will link below. And so we're going to try to make room on the shelves. A few weeks ago I wanted to do this, but I was also debating if I'm going to get rid of our whole Witcher series, I'll have room. Immediately to notice that the Stormlight Archive will not fit in the Witcher space. And I have more books than that that are not on my shelves. And there's several books, mostly book books, that aren't on my shelves or that are on my shelves and I still haven't read. Ones that sounded good, but I never got around to them, and then I'm not sure about some of them. I want to, but mood, or do they fit in a thing? So, to help get through this, to make room on the shelves, clear the shelves, and just try something fun and different, we will be doing this challenge of yet to be named. Is it a challenge? I don't know. We will be picking a book. I will tell you a little bit about the book, my first kind of thoughts. We'll read the first chapter. After 5 chapters, I think I'll try to give you updated, actual, intelligent thoughts about the book that are my own, and whether or not we'll keep going. I will at least give every book 100 pages. And if you've been by the channel for a while, you'll know that I don't really DNF that much. But I'm going to try to hold myself to it this time. If I'm not enjoying it, we have Aurelian coming up. So we're not going to be in a bad mindset. We're not going to push through things. We're going to keep it because we like it. We're going to keep going. Or we're just going to stop and then we get to put something else on the shelf. Yay, because there's some stacks. And like I said, Stormlight's fat. They're all fat. There's no room for them. So they're just sitting over there. First book. Stop rambling, Morgan. I forgot to hit the recording on this. Oh, fun. Because I have heard things about this one. And that's going to be, I don't know if I can see this at all, A Curse of Blood and Wolves. Okay. I have this one. Right there. See, not shelved. It's like flat laying on a shelf. A Curse in Blood of Blood and Wolves by Melissa McTiernan. Is so pretty. Like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I guess this has to be Red Riding Hood, right? Yeah. Can you be drawn to someone you've never met? When Ruby feels the eyes of a stranger in the woods, she knows she should be scared, that she should run away, but she can't. Instead, she feels a thrill, feels drawn to this stranger who follows her in the woods, yearns for his eyes on her every night as she walks home, hoping to hear the crunch of leaves under his feet that signals he's there. Will he ever reveal himself? Yeah, a steamy reimagining of Little Red Riding Hood.
To anyone who grew up but never outgrew fairy tales, here's a grown-up one just for you. All right, that's too high. That's too high for reading too. Hopefully this still picks up okay. I will mispronounce things. Please don't judge me. How long is chapter 1 actually? Before we commit to this. We will read all of chapter 1 or like 10 pages. Okay, 6 pages. Cool. This is the perfect book to start this with. Chapter 1. Ruby kept her pace steady even as the hairs rose on the nape of her neck, a familiar breathlessness squeezing her lungs. She felt the stranger's gaze tracking her as she traipsed through the woods. Dry leaves crunched under her feet on the overgrown trail, the smell of dirt and pine drifting up to her nose. Beneath the terror of knowing she was being watched, a deep sense of relief settled into her. He was still here, still waiting. But beneath the thrumming fear of her body, she wasn't afraid at all. She was excited, alive, aroused. Further evidence that she was just as screwed up as everyone said she would. Rumors had swirled about her for years. She was a witch. She communed with the dead. She effed ghosts. Whatever the hell that meant. Leaves whispered alongside the trail, and a shape moved through the shadows beside her. Goosebumps raised along her arms despite the heat of the night. Maybe she was just as weird as everyone said. Maybe she would F a ghost or whatever it was that was following her, because if she wasn't trembling at the thought. Okay. Rafe slumped against the closest tree, watching the woman flee from him. She raced across the small yard, her short black skirt flapping around her legs. She yanked open the back door and disappeared inside without a backwards glance. Of course, why the hell would she look back? He had obviously just scared the living hell out of her. But for a minute there, it had seemed as if she might. Rafe shook the thought from his head. Sometimes he really was as stupid as his father always said he was. He spat on the ground at the memory of the old bastard and turned from the little cottage at the edge of the woods. He strode back toward home, easily finding his way in the dark. Why did I have this idea? Knowing what some of these books had? I don't know. Skip. Maybe that's all this obsession was, his own loneliness demanding companionship. But even as he thought it, even as he tried to explain away his attraction to this woman, he couldn't shake the feeling like that there was more to it. Things that had been quiet for far too long in these woods. The pack, his pack, had been quiet for far too long, and that made Rafe uneasy. It made him want to protect this woman from the woods, from whatever was coming next, from his brother, from his kind. Rafe knew that was exactly how he would rationalize it to himself when he went out to find her again tomorrow. So the first chapter was fine. Already some things that were weird and had to edit. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do this exactly, if this was a bad idea. This took me 13 minutes. Notes to future me that we will have to definitely be more careful about reading things. Because spicy books, of course, should not be read out loud, Morgan. Or, just mental edit faster than my mouth moves. Based off the first chapter, though, I don't mind keeping going right now. It could just be a light fluff book. Spicy fluff. We will update later how it's going, though. Sunshine. It is so bright, even with the little sun blocker thingies. Car update, because listening to the audiobook while going to the carpool, we made it to chapter 8, and it's like I said, I'd update at 5. Not a whole lot, though. We have had a little bit of things start to happen, for sure. And the car's making a lot of noises. Ruby has lived with her great aunt after her parents died when she was 8, and her older sister, Lena, I don't remember how old she was. And most recently, Lena has started to have some problems with zoning out and then saying they are coming. So she lost her job as a kindergarten teacher, and so Ruby is the sole financial person with her bartending job. The audiobook is narrated by just a guy, which normally that's not a bad thing, but it's a little weird. And weirdly, it's his Rafe voice that's weirder because it's all gravelly. So I go to page 100, though. They've actually met. Our main characters have met, and they're having a conversation now about werewolves because Ruby was attacked, on the night they met. Yeah, I'm sure her sister's thing is going to have something to go into play with it. The whole they are coming. Yeah. That's about all we have right now, and they're both attracted to each other. Of course, they're attracted to each other. And Rafe fully admits it to himself. Well, not saying it, to her, but he admits it to himself. He is so drawn to her. He just wants to be close to her. He wants to hold her. He can't hide his attraction. Ruby is actually the more annoying one, though. She's a strong female. I don't need a man to protect me. I almost died last night to a werewolf, but I don't need your protection.
Don't need any help.
We'll keep going. I'm going to turn the air back on now. It's very, very hot.
I did, I finished it. I'm still not entirely sure why. Maybe because I was doing the audiobook that way, while I was doing stuff. Possibly. Even though, as I said in the last clip, the audio narrator wasn't great with, the voices. I already talked about how she was, and then after she got over her that she needs his help because, werewolves, then it was him. I'm too dangerous. I can't be around you, but I can't stay away. Oh my gosh. It's a trope. I know that. But it was just too much. And the fact that it was all of this and the romance and the relationship. Yes, romantasy. I get it. But
the plot, the point of, her sister and these visions, I think I'd already talked about that. If not, we will try to talk about it more in the wrap-up, which I will film maybe later today. That was left unanswered. We went to go get answers. We went to help our sister, and that kept getting pushed to the side because relationship drama. Until the end of the book, the last chapter, is like, oh, we've spent a week, where my sister's practically kicked me out of the house so I could spend time with Rafe. And just this, and now we're not even worried about her visions or the people that were after us. No. So all of a sudden we wake up in the middle of the night to a horrible thing like twin tuition, but they're not twins or whatever. And then that's going to be leading us into the next one. But legitly, it's the same plot from the first one of her sisters having these horrific visions that we don't know why or what's up with it. And we just kept unanswering it. Oh, I forgot to run this through Copal, but I needed to do this real quick, and the battery was at 13%, so I said I'd make this short. I'm guessing, though, it's not going to be above a 3. If it's going to make it to a 3, it's a romantasy 3, not a normal book 3. I really feel like I want to create a different rating scale just for romantasy, smut, things like this. I don't even think smut and romantasy should be scaled on the same thing either, though, really. I don't know. I'm going to think more on that like I have time. Okay, but let's go ahead and pick the next book, though. That way, after the gym, we could try to read the first chapter of that. Oh great, another one that possibly might have this same... I don't think it's quite in the same category, but that is one you still probably can't see. I don't know why I keep trying to show you. Gothicana by Runix. Okay, it might not be in that, because I think this was from the bookish box, but the adult one before they went fully into the darkly, where it is like steamy, smutty stuff. This is supposed to also be dark academia. The eternal romance of Beauty and the Beast meets gothic suspense of Dracula in this erotic dark academia story of epic love. Oh great, so both of these books for the first episode of this are going to be awkward to read the first chapter on camera. We shall return.
Hopefully reading chapter 1 of this will not be as bad as chapter 1 of the other one. Well, it's not exactly chapter 1. It's like a prologue and it's something else. Do not eat the baby's food, Sunshine. Where it all began, there was nothing scarier than a blind old woman with whites for eyes suddenly gripping your arm under a full moon night. Old Zelda had once been the caretaker of a home little Vlad now lived in with other boys, but after she went blind a few years ago from an accident, the admin people let her stay on, which was a mistake in Vlad's opinion. Oh, Vad. Whoopsie. Vad, not Vlad. Because she knew stuff she shouldn't know, stuff about boys she could even see. She'd known things long before she lost her sight. She'd known Reed would drown in the pond a week before he did. She knew about Tor and his skin burning from the inside, something he'd never told anyone. And she said his best friend would eat flames one day, whatever that meant. And Fury was scared of fires. Okay. Also, seriousness, and bad would hurt her. So, being caught in a small garden on boys in front of the other, thinking everyone did. Her frail little hand whipped his arm with surprising strength. To a castle where no, she said her wishing, her face heavily. Rainbow lights were asking, you're really bad. You will go, boy. No, Sunshine. Fury stared at his side. Why would he go to a castle, Zelda? Where would he even find a castle? They were piss poor, Zelda. You'll find anything, Zelda. So purple eyes, you'll find purple eyes. Ajax, another boy, his name is Dad, purple eyes. No other purple eyes, Zelda. Or maybe a freak does. Maybe he also wants a burly man, and a bush out of the girl, or a girl with 2 horns. Another said, bad blush Jersey. He's a real Zelda, born him like that, saying weird stuff about him. His friends make fun of. Okay, Miss Love, no boy, doesn't matter, yes. A few years later, Corvina. Black. It was the absence of color, the keeper of dark, the abyss of unknowns. It was her hair, her mama's clothes, the vast sky all around them. She loved black. The kids in town feared it, from the shadows under their beds to the endless night that blanketed them for hours. Their parents taught them to be afraid of it. They taught them to be afraid of her mother, too, the odd lady with the odd eyes who lived at the edge of town near the woods. Some whispered she was a witch who practiced dark magic. Some said she was a freak. Little Corvina had heard all the rumors, but she knew they were untrue. Her mother wasn't a witch or a freak. Her mother was her mother. She just didn't like people. Corvina didn't like people either. But then most people in town weren't very likable. Just the day before, she'd seen a girl her age throw pebbles at a crow that had been trying to find some twigs on the ground for its nest. Corvina knew this because she knew the crow. There weren't many of them in the woods here, though this state knew her and her mom too. And it wasn't because of anything. First, she knew her mother taking her to a clearing, and used the notable how to determine who the crows. Her mom told her one of the days when she was eating that they were intelligent, woke creatures with spirits and ancestors, and they watched over them from the skies during the day, just like the stars at night, and they needed protectors to them. Her mom didn't talk much, but she did voices told things. They told her not to talk to people. Homeschool couldn't have the school. Keep her away from everyone. Her mom told her that she didn't want her, they would take her away. She couldn't hear signs of town, they would take her away. She didn't talk to anyone, they would take her away. Corvina didn't want to take her away. She loved her mom. Her mom used on stage to first grasp things. Her mom grew really good. Her mom took her into town once a month, even though she did. They gave her any book she liked in the library. Those days, her mom didn't talk at all, and she was teaching Corvina whispering voices. Corvina didn't talk to you, but Corvina knew she was loved. She was just the way her mom was. As she walked beside her, her little feet under her moon, the skies of the green. Her ring moon had 1 every 5 years. Even when she was 100, she smiled. Her mom was happy after a long time, and they never cried. With candles, incense, sticks, her mother made, and the tarot card her mother was teaching her to read. And the crystals were going to recharge. Taylor Corvina looked around at the darkness and built home. It was her mother. Most days, her mama didn't talk at all unless she was teaching Corvina or whispering to the voices. Corvina didn't talk much either, but Corvina knew she was loved. It was just the way her mama was. As she walked beside her little feet under the moonlit sky to the clearing, a rare ink moon that happened once every 5 years, an ink moon she was born under, she smiled. Her mama was happy after a long time, and that made her happy. With candles and incense sticks that her mother made, and the tarot cards her mother was teaching her to read, and the crystals they were going to recharge, 10-year-old Corvina looked around at the darkness and felt at home. It was her mother. If her mother was a freak, then maybe so was she. After all, sometimes she heard voices too. I'm guessing those are our two main characters. Then you get a character named Vad and a character named Corvina, and you get to see them both as children in like this brief little snippet. And then it looks like the first chapter starts with Corvina again, as it's saying she's never heard. What did it say? She's never heard of the University of Varenmore, but then again, she hadn't heard of most normal things. Not with her upbringing, however, nobody else had heard of it either. And so she's gotten an invitation to attend that university, which, dark academia. I am your beast, I am your madness, and you are my afterlife. Okay, we will see how this goes. Unfortunate, there is no audiobook. Unfortunate. I'm going to leave because they're training litter boxes in here, and one of them did a thing, so I will update later once I've managed to make progress. Good morning. Hopefully we don't look like too much of a troll because, we haven't done much today except finally reach chapter 5. It is Friday morning, and I think we did the picking Wednesday. This book is so slow. Like, is it gothic, I guess? Are they all like that? It's been a while since I've read anything considered, I guess, classic and old of that style. One thing I should have read to you guys, though, when I did the prologue parts was probably the author's note with its content warnings. As it says, it's only recommended for 18 plus because of, actual content. And then it mentions and contains scenes of unaliving, somebody else making you unalived. I don't know what is okay and not okay to say on here anymore in that regards. I guess I'm not monetized, so it really doesn't matter if I say murder and death.
MDK. Murder, death, kill. Murder.
Oh my god, what is the name of that movie? Okay, we're missing the point of this very grim author's warning. Mentions of mental illness and neglectful parenting, mentions of sexual assault, and mentions of human sacrifice. So if any of those things disturb you or make you unsafe feeling, probably don't read the book. So this is really slow. It has been a while since I've read anything of a gothic manner, historically manner, I suppose. So far, all of the main chapters' points of view up to chapter 5 is from Corvina's perspective. It starts with her getting this acceptance letter to Varenmore University, which no one has heard about. And apparently she's gone to see several psychologists either before or after her mother's passing to make sure she's not crazy, because she has heard a voice her whole life and her doctors just tell her this is probably your subconscious. Hello, microphone. Don't know what we're doing. That was probably a really weird scene. I'm sorry. But there will be, it's hardly even an age gap because he's just like a few years later. But the one rule the university has is no student-teacher relations, which is a pretty good rule to have. Fully support that. But of course, the main male attractive character is a teacher, kind of. He's a doctoral student who is filling into a professor position because they are missing a professor. But he's been doing this for 2 years. Couldn't find a professor for the fall semester. We might get good atmospheric fall vibes. The university is set up on a mountaintop. It's an old castle, so that's the Gothic vibes. They're surrounded by woods. There's a weird, creepy lake in the woods that it's weird. She says she gets bad vibes from it. It's disturbing. But yet later she describes it as a beautiful lake and pushed the icky feelings to the side. What? I did have a piece though to tell you about how the romance is. There's a lot of intense, longing gazes. Oh my gosh. Steer clear of me, little crow, he muttered, his eyes piercing, flaying her open. You might be a luring siren, but I'm no ordinary sailor. I'm a mad pirate, and I'm trying to resist your call. If I land on your shores, I'll plunder and take away everything worth having. Be very careful giving me those eyes. Is it just because I feel like I've read some romanticities, right? I've read a few. Oh my gosh. Okay. She is older than all the other students at 21. She's old for a freshman. But my gosh, I don't know. Or if it's just the writing. Like thinking back after reading the prologues to you guys and trying to stumble over my words and being like, this doesn't quite sound right in my head. I'm like, is it just the writing too? Has somebody else read this? Is the writing weird to you too? Like the wording choices and the format of how they're shaping their sentences? So we give it a page 100, see if anything happens that it grips us yet, if we're going to keep going. Since it's the 30th, it's today and tomorrow to finish this. And I started an audiobook, which is not part of this video at all. And it is a contemporary romance, weirdly, just because it's the time of year and I felt I needed to read this at this point in the year. And I kind of want to just go with that more than this. So that's a bad sign. And also that, it's not just romance that's being like, That's our update for now. We'll be back in 30 pages and maybe, I can't promise I'll look more put together because if I go clean stuff now, I'm only going to look worse.
Okay, this was supposed to be in the same actual video clip as the wrap-up ending, but kittens and disturbances and things, the kittens have been relocated instead of in the boxes. So if you watch the wrap-up and this, you're going to be like, it's much quieter. I have decided just to stop with this one. So, well, neither of the first ones for this challenge went particularly well. I mean, I kind of laughed, I guess, more with the other one. It's just, my goodness, with this. Even the description there, it gives nothing. I guess it gives romance in the description when I read it a second ago, and I'm like, but what is the point? So at 140 pages, I'm calling it. At the 100 mark where I said I'd go to, the spice actually kicked in and things happened. I'm going to stop. I'm okay with stopping. I don't need to know more. For the next challenge, though, the next time we do this, I'm going to have to do this differently because I don't know if it was just doing two romancy things. I don't think so because I listened to another contemporary romance since this one did not have an audiobook. And that was fine. But that was more, cozy, contemporary, part of a series I'd already read. But I think maybe I need to have a book in between the two challenge books next time. I don't know. Or just also add, I don't have very many other varieties to add, but we'll see. Things that we have got to do something different. Because maybe it was just two back to back. I don't know, guys. I hope, though, that you enjoyed this odd mashup challenge thing that we did. I have no idea how long this video is. The kittens are now back and playing at my feet in things that... See, we're not bad. We're just playful babies. Yes, we are. We're just playful babies. I hope so that you guys did enjoy this. Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts on it are, or what we could do differently, better, that you think it would work better. Or just, if you liked it or didn't like it, let me know. I hope you are finding something awesome to read today and that you'll come back for more.